Braxton, thank you so much for coming on the AIM podcast.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me, bro.
Dude, I'm excited, man. Before we kick things off with your story and all the fun stuff I want to dive into, I have to ask you. In your bio, it says you're the best shooter on TikTok. And
Yes, sir. That's
listen, I hear you. I hear you, but I want to
it.
know if you're the best shooter on the AIM podcast. We've been fortunate to have on Jimmer Fredette, Austin J. Mills, Bjorn Broman, some guys that I would hold it with a high standard in the shooting
They're
category.
very good. They're very good.
How do you think you stack up against those guys?
I think I stack up pretty good. Well, I mean, I know Austin Mills in person. I know Broman in person. I haven't met Jimmer in person, so he's the only one that I haven't shot up against. But I think I hold my own for
That would
sure.
be, I'm not gonna lie, that group right there, that'd be a good shootout, man. I'd actually love to see that
No,
in
it would be.
life.
It would be. They're both tough. I remember the first time I met Austin. I'm like, okay, this dude's legit. Like he's tough. He's a bucket for sure.
For sure. It's one thing to see guys make shots on social media on clips and stuff, but in real life when these guys can really shoot,
Yeah.
it's a whole, and I'm sure you know it's a whole different ball game.
Oh, for sure. The thing about Austin that I impressed me too is because we played and stuff together. He has a very just pro play style. I mean, I know now he does more of the ball is life stuff, but like when he really just like hoops, he controls the game like a pro player does. So he's very skilled, very knowledgeable of the game. So Roman is too. I mean, they're both really good. So
For sure. Yeah, I love Broman. Broman, I'm pretty close with. When I played at college at Western, my video coordinator was his college roommate at Winthrop when he was playing. And
oh yeah.
I got to know him pretty well through those guys, and yeah, he's a great dude. Love that dude.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, I haven't seen him in a while. We did a part takeover once in Virginia, like probably like 2 years ago now. It was probably like this time about 2 years ago. But no, he's good people. He's a really good guy.
100%, bro. 100%, bro. Even before we dive into more stuff, when you jumped on the call, you said you're taking um, a caffeine fast, bro.
I am, bro. I'm fasting from caffeine, sweets for the most part. So what I did is I got me a rehydrate drink instead. So hopefully I can trick my body into feeling like I'm drinking caffeine, but I'm not.
I love it, bro. When did you start using caffeine?
Ooh. Um, I started using caffeine probably around my senior years of high school. My mom started working. I don't know if I want to give out promos, but my mom started working for the company Avocare,
It sounds familiar.
really big supplement company. I mean, they're like huge, but my mom started being like an affiliate for them and doing stuff for them and selling. And once she started doing stuff for them, they have this like energy powder drink, and it's actually really good. And she started just getting it all the time. She would get it for me, and I'd take one every morning, and then I would take one, if in the middle of the day if I needed one. So I just kind of got used to having caffeine in my system after that, and now it's like I take one every morning, and I'm used to it. So take going off will be a thing for sure.
That's so interesting, man. I actually don't really consume a ton of caffeine. Every once in a while, like if I have a long road trip or something, I'll grab an energy drink only if I feel like I'm like getting sleepy
Yeah,
behind the wheel. But I don't drink coffee. I don't drink, energy drinks most of the time. I'm honestly like kind of scared of caffeine because I'm like, dude,
yeah.
I don't want to get like dependent on something and like feel like my body requires it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I chose caffeine too, because I'm like, man, I be drinking caffeine a lot, so I'm like, I need to calm down, and I don't do like so. Honestly, I would say like caffeine's probably the one thing that I drink because I only drink water. I don't drink like soda. I don't drink anything else. But caffeine's like the one like kind of like I guess fruity drink that I drink, something that tastes has a taste to it. So I don't know if that's also another reason why I've become so I drink it every day because it's like something different. But
For sure. No, that's awesome, bro. Well, dude, I have a ton of respect for you, man, and what you've built with your personal brand through the game of basketball and love your content, bro. I'm sure many people listening to this will enjoy checking out your stuff. But before we dive into the content and all the stuff you're doing with your personal brand, I would love to know just like the pure story of how you got into the game of basketball. Like, what was that initial kind of stage of you stepping into starting to play the game?
Yeah. So I'm from South Louisiana originally, and my whole family is LSU fans. And we're like season ticket holders to pretty much every sport. So I grew up as a kid. I wanted to be an LSU football player. Like that was like my dream. Like I wanted to go to LSU and I wanted to play football. So as a kid, football was like my mindset all the time when I was really little. And then when I was when I was really young, I got a concussion, so I had to take some time off from football. And then we moved to Michigan, and my mom's like, "Hey, I'm going to sign you up to play basketball. You're going to go to this tryout." I was like, "I don't know. I don't really want to do that." But I did it. I went. I ended up playing a whole season. I was third string. I scored 12 points that year in about 40 games. I came in the last 3 minutes of the game, but I think I really liked basketball because it challenged me. Because football, I was like naturally good at. Like football and baseball were kind of natural. I didn't have to practice. I didn't really have to train to, be good at it or something. But basketball, I wasn't. Like I was absolutely terrible. I had no natural giftings in the game of basketball. So and I think I liked that as a kid. It gave me something to work for. So the next year, I just remember just being in my driveway just every day, just working, working, working. My next season, I think I scored like almost 100 points in the season. I was like second string. I'm like, okay, I'm working my way up. And then I would say I got another concussion my eighth grade year, and the doctor said I couldn't play football anymore. And then when that happened, it was like a flip kind of switched.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, this isn't an option anymore. So I'm just gonna go all in the basketball. And then my eighth grade year, I did really well. I think I averaged like 20 something points going in the freshman year. And then ever since then, like I played some varsity minutes as a freshman, and then I started varsity as a sophomore. Um, and yeah.
Once you stepped into the game of basketball and started taking it more seriously, you said you enjoy different elements such as this, like you having to train more and prioritize like the skill development. When was it that you kind of made that internal decision and said, look, I'm gonna really go all into this and like maybe even see myself playing collegiately or beyond that?
Yeah, I would say it was that eighth grade year. It was that year I got that concussion. Cause then, like I always knew I loved sports. Always wanted to play. Like I said, my dream was always I wanted to be an LSU football player because that's what my family loved watching now. I mean, I'm going to the LSU Auburn game this year. Like I fly down every year for 1 or 2 games. Um, but that was always a dream. And then when that was, I don't want to say taken away because I didn't really take it like that. I mean, I'm an eighth grade kid. It's not like anything was like taken away from me as far as college. But like the doctor says you can't play anymore. Like you can't do that. I mean, this is your third serious concussion and you're in eighth grade. Like, football's not going to be the thing. And so I don't know. I just flipped that mindset to where it's like I love sports. Baseball was just too slow. I wasn't. I mean, like I was good at it. I wasn't. I didn't enjoy playing that much. And then so I'm like, okay, I'm not good at this, but I enjoy the challenge. So that's when I stepped into basketball and I, was able to make something of it.
For sure. Now, fast forwarding through that journey, so you're getting to play in high school, you're taking the game more seriously. Talk to us a little bit about that transition from high school basketball to your experience with like the college, the whole way it kind of panned out for you.
Yeah. So I played homeschooled sports, so it was a little bit harder to get recognized. I played it on a travel team, but it was harder to get noticed. So I was trying everything I could, to get my name out there. I got a bunch of coaches, you know, uh, like NAIA, D2, kind of get to know who I am. And I don't know, it was just an experience. I was working really hard to go play college, and the dream was almost there. Like I had interest from some coaches, and I was making it happen. I was making a way, and then going into my senior year, I was actually the first homeschooler to be ranked in the top 40 in the state. So that kind of got me some notoriety. I was in the class with Xavier Tillman, that's on the Grizzlies now. Who else was in that class? Uh, Matt Bleacher, he played for Central Michigan. Who else was in there? Dwayne Washington was in that class. So they had a bunch of good players in that class. Um and then I was about to go play NAIA at Bethel. It's in Indiana. And then I ended up meeting somebody which owns a very popular training organization, and I started training with him as a player. And then he ended up offering, before I had to sign to go to school, he ended up offering me a full-time job to be a trainer. And then through that, I got to work with some NBA players. I was there for a while, starting a training business, started to make money because I was kind of over uh, playing. I don't know. It was like I. It's like I don't know. It's like you work so hard for something your whole life, and I think it's something in your brain. You tell yourself this is how it's got to go. But
Mhm.
like, there was no other reason for me to go to school. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I I didn't want a 9 to 5. I hated school. Like, I was terrible. I didn't want to do that. And then the only reason I was going was to play basketball. And I was kind of dreading like leaving and going. And so when that opportunity opened up, it's like, wow, I can play basketball, make money, and help people, and build a business and a name and a brand. It's like, wow, that's kind of a win. So I ended up deciding to go that route. Did that, like I said, worked with NBA guys, um, high school guys, everything. And then I did that for about 3 years, I would say. And then during COVID year, I couldn't train anymore. I'm kind of a workaholic. Like, I have to be doing something like all the time. Like, I have to be doing something productive. If I'm not doing something productive, I feel like I'm not doing anything. And I just remember I'm like, okay, I can't train, so I'm gonna try to be famous on the internet. And that's when TikTok, everyone was posting on TikTok during COVID. So I just started posting on TikTok. One thing led to another, and now we're here.
Dude, that's amazing. It's so cool to see how many successful people have emerged through that COVID era of just,
No, for
being at
real.
home and locking in and capitalizing on an opportunity where there was, a lot of demand. Um, as you took that transition and stepped into training, what was kind of like the big mental shift? I know you talk about like it just, when you weighed everything out, it just presented a better opportunity for you to kind of start to begin to build your career, build your brand, still be around the game of basketball and do what you love, but also, make revenue, make money. What was kind of like the big mental shift for you though, transitioning from playing like basketball for fun, but obviously seriously to now stepping into like actually doing this, still
Yeah.
having fun with it, but making it more of a business?
I think the biggest thing, this is for like trainers too, especially like if you train a sport, you're a trainer and not a player for a reason. There's a reason like you didn't make the NBA or something like that. So I think the biggest thing that you have to learn is not to teach kids to play like you play.
Hmm.
You have to know basketball and be able to teach them what's going to be the most successful way to play. Because I don't know if you noticed this. You said you played college basketball, like you were involved. Like you can tell if you're in the training community. Like, there's a lot of trainers you can tell by their play style who they train with. Like, if you watch a kid, like if you see a kid play, you'll be like, oh, he trains here. Oh yeah, you see this kid, he trains there. Um, and it's like you just have to learn like what's best for the player and what's going to help them get to the next level. Because I'm a good basketball player, but I am known by no means an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? So if that kid's dream is to be me, okay, cool. But their dream's probably to be in the NBA in this. So how do I train them to be that? Don't train them what I'm good at. Train them to what they need. So that was a big mental shift because it's like, whoa, I got to learn how to think outside the box now to get them to do what I can't do.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. I feel like it takes a level of like humility, but also maturity to like
Yes.
make that shift. Because I don't know, I feel like you're 100% dead on, but I do think there are some trainers that like don't want to let that go and want to still
Oh
be
no.
do their
Well,
thing.
most trainers are trying to hold on to the game, but I think that's why a lot of people don't make it to that top level, because there's a lot of really good trainers out there. But also another thing I learned too, just because you have that pedigree as a player, like you made the league or you made overseas, doesn't mean you're a good trainer, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people just do, but they don't know. They don't understand what they're doing. They just kind of play the game and it happens, you know. And they try to teach also, and this is on the flip side, kind of the same thing but reverse. They try to teach kids to play like they play, but some kids aren't physically capable of doing the things that they could do because of whatever. So it's like, you really just got to learn how to read whoever you're working with.
That makes a
That was
lot.
a big gift. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I want to jump back into the content side. So COVID hits, you're at home, you're not able to train, right? And you start to create content on social media. You talked about TikTok. What did that look like for you initially? Was it very focused on like seriously building a brand from the start, or was it more so I just kind of have some time, like I want to just create some videos? Like how did that kind of start for you?
Um, it was literally, I told myself I was gonna try everything, just everything. Like, I wasn't trying to stick to a niche or I wasn't trying to build a brand yet. I was just trying to make Braxton Picou's face recognizable. So if it was the dances, if it was skits, if it was basketball, if it was whatever it was. Honestly, for a while I was trying to stay away from basketball because I was like, everything in my life is basketball. So I was
Mm.
like, I want to see if I can just do this without it. And so I was posting like 5 times a day for probably 3 months, and like nothing was blowing up. I had like 260 followers. Like, I'm like, man, I'm making all this content and nothing's blowing up. Like, I'm getting no views. And then I started. Can I name drop on this? Can I say
Yeah,
names?
for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I saw Chase. I think it's Chase Dumar, the guy in Too Hot to Handle, the light
Yeah, yeah.
skinned dude. Um, And at the time, he had like 500,000 followers or whatever. But his thing was, he was saying, I had the best hands on TikTok. And he was doing like all these challenges, like catching a football, like putting maple syrup on his hands and then catching a football. And I was watching him, and I'm like, this guy's terrible. Like he's catching the ball, but like, I mean, even the challenges where he doesn't like has gloves on and catching it, it's like he's fumbling it and catching it. And I'm like, but people are like, he's got supporters and he's got haters, but everyone watches him. Like everyone like cares. And I was like, I wonder if anyone's doing this with basketball. So I like looked around and I was like, no one's doing like best shooter on TikTok. No one's saying that. Um, so that was an idea I had for a while, but I still never did it. And so I kept trying, just everything not basketball. And then eventually I remember I met with one of my mentors. He's a pastor at my church. And he kind of laughingly said, you still trying to be famous on TikTok? And I said, I got one more idea. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to give it up. And then that next day, I was playing 3-on-3 with some guys, and I just made a video. I set my tripod up after we're done playing, and I said, I'm the best shooter on TikTok, no cap. And then I just turned around, made a shot, came back to the camera, started talking again, telling people how good I was. And I just made like, I don't know, like 7 in a row. Nothing crazy, but I remember going to bed that night after I posted it. I woke up the next morning, I had like 3 million views. I was like, oh, was like, okay. And it was literally just like Chase. It was just like I saw, I had people supporting me, a lot of people hating me, like, who's this kid? But I was like, oh, I could build on this. So made another one the next day. That one got like 8 million views. Made another one, that one blew up. Made another one, that one blew up. And then yeah, so and I just kept doing it, and I kept flowing and working and working and working and working until I got around 300,000, and that's when I like kind of slowed down a little bit
Dude,
for
that
that.
is insane. That's wild, man. And when you made that video, that's when you kind of made a pivot to kind of focus more on basketball centric
Yeah,
content.
as soon as something, I am thankful that I watched enough like YouTube videos on how to blow up on social media and stuff to learn at least like when something works, stick with it. Like, don't try to like. I do think it's important as an influencer, and I think this is where a lot of influencers and social media people go wrong is they don't know how to pivot. Like, and that's kind of like what I was saying around 300,000. I can talk about that later, but learning how to pivot. But you don't want to like pivot so far. You don't want to 180 and just go in another direction. You don't want to have something blow up and then do something completely different the next video because then people are like, what the heck? And then they don't follow. But if
Right.
you keep giving them what they want while it's hot, that's why it'll just keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. But
Totally. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So at this point, so you start making these videos, you're
mm,
claiming the title of best shooter on TikTok. You're making videos around that, but you said you get to
mm,
300,000 and then things kind of chill. How did
mm.
you kind of push through that barrier? Because obviously you're way bigger now. Like what was that kind of journey like throughout the process?
um, it was hard mentally just because like I hadn't been in that spot before. Like I hadn't been in the spot to where I posted a video and it didn't do anything. And it was like I was making the same videos as I was before, but they just weren't. And then finally, mentally, I put the pieces together. I'm like, people just don't care anymore. Like, I kind of had gotten to the point to where either you loved me or you hated me. Like, there was no changing your mind. There was no point to try to prove anymore. Either I had proven the point already to you, or you're just like, this little dweeb's just running his mouth. Like, it was just kind of to that point. So I kind of figured that out, and I was like, okay, I got to figure something new out. And so I started trying some things, like some training videos, some random videos. Nothing was working. And I remember one day I went to the gym and I filmed a skit, a basketball skit. And this is before basketball skits were like really popular. More people were just posting them playing or, just shooting challenges and stuff. Like basketball skits weren't really a thing. And I filmed. It was called Trash Kid. It was like when like that terrible kid at the Y asks you to play 1-on-1, and then they make a shot, and then he just rubs it in your face or something, like acts like somebody. And I just made a skit like that, and I posted it, and it was weird because it was as soon as I posted it, it blew up. Like probably in the first hour, it had almost 1 million views, and I'd never had a video like that before. I was like, oh shoot. And it wasn't even good. Like I go back and watch it now. I'm like, my acting was terrible. Like I don't know what I'm doing. It was just bad, but it blew up. And I'm like, okay, skits now. So then I just started doing skits. I think I did 3 or 4 parts to that Trash Kid video, and they all blew up. And then I'm still kind of in skits. Um, but now I'm facing like my third pivot now, and it's I think more people want to just know people. So like more day-to-day life stuff like okay, we love Braxton now. He's the best shooter on TikTok. He's funny, but who is he like just day to day?
For
Like
sure.
who is he not edited content video? So I've been trying to show more of like my training sessions, me missing shots, best shooter on TikTok. What? He misses? Oh, he's human. You know, he's just a
Yeah.
normal kid in Michigan. So I've been showing that, and I feel like people have been enjoying that the most right
For
now.
sure.
So,
Yeah, it's cool to see. It's cool to see how you evolved even as a creator and to turn, you talk
mm,
about these different pivots. Like I think it's super interesting. A lot of people I feel like don't think about it like that, but you're constantly adapting and figuring out what works and how you can best serve the audience that you're building. But I'm curious real quick on the skits thing because it's honestly I think it's really impressive. When you go
mm.
into the gym, do you have all these ideas kind of already planned out, pre-planned, or are these things you're doing on the fly, like making up what each person's gonna say in the skit? Like, what is your creative
Um,
process around that?
so I will say, so I mean, I've been around pretty much everyone in the space, and it's interesting to go around people. This is like the first thing I noticed when I started collabing with other influencers. Everyone's creative process is different, and they have pros and cons to each of them. Like some people can't do anything without a script. Some people can, but I would say one of my strengths is I can just get in front of a camera and just make up whatever on the fly. Like that's kind of how it works. I kind of I mean, so I normally show up with an idea. Like I have like the title in my head, like the guy that has terrible form but makes everything. Like, like I have like a title, so I know kind of the concept. But when I get there, I just kind of like flow with it. And then um which is good too, because then there's no limit on what you can do. Like I feel like when you write a script, sometimes they're good, like for more complex videos, like I write a script for, but or if I'm doing a brand deal, like I'll write a script for those. Um, but yeah, if I'm just because then I can just say whatever. Like if I say something mad funny, like it's like, oh shoot, okay, that's perfect. That works perfect. But if I had a script, I wouldn't really just had the freedom to just do whatever. So no, I just kind of just go off the top.
Awesome.
And then when
That's
I edit it, I chop it up to make it work.
that's so cool, bro. You definitely have a talent and a huge gift in that area. I
Oh,
want to
thank you.
know though, how do you balance content creation and what you do, obviously, to build your brand and to build your socials with actual training? Because I know you're still in the gym, you're still working out. Like,
Mm.
how do you find that balance, and what does that kind of look like for you?
Well, this is actually something that I'm just trying to figure out recently. This is kind of like my mental state. This is where my brain's been outside of content recently. So I've actually been. I don't play basketball that much anymore because I'm so busy doing everything else, and I've been going play at a pro run like the last like all summer pretty much, and I haven't played very well. And I was like, yo, literally probably a week ago, I had this conversation with myself going inside the store. I said, Braxton, either you quit basketball for good and you just make content and train, or you start working out again and you start like you set a goal and you achieve it just like you used to.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, that's what I'm doing. So I've been waking up early every morning, going to the gym first thing. Um, I lift, I work out. I have like three trainers that I'm working with right now. Um, so I go to those workouts. I normally film those. I don't post them all, but I post some of them, the ones that have a storyline, the ones that can make flow. And then after that, I normally come home, I eat, I kind of figure out what I want to do for the day. I'll either edit videos that I already have filmed, or I'll go film something and then edit. Just depends on, like today I'll probably go film after we get off of this. Um, but I'll either edit, go film, or whatever, and then I'll come home. I finish the video. I post around 4 every day. Post it, and then after I post it, I'll either go film again or edit more. And then around like probably 5 or 6 is when I have like my my free time to
Dang.
do whatever. Either go play basketball or go hang out, whatever. But yo,
Dude, that's super cool. Yeah, I was super curious that because obviously, the thing that's driving your business, your brand right now is obviously the content. But for you to be able to, do certain things in content, also, participate in these runs, it's like I'm sure there's some level of training that you're still doing to
yeah,
to stay sharp, to stay like, able to still do that stuff.
exactly. And I would like to be able to play like in the influencer events and stuff coming up. Like that's a goal of mine coming up soon. Like I would like to be in the creator league, all that stuff. So I'm like, I want to just stay as sharp as I can for when the call comes. Like, hey, we want you to play in this. All right, bet I'm ready. It's not like, hey, we want you to play in this. Frick, I gotta start practicing. So that's
Yeah,
kind of been my mindset recently. Just stay ready.
for sure. For sure. Now, as you've developed, obviously, I'm sure from a business standpoint, kind of speaking more to that, you have created content. I'm sure you've been able to monetize on the platforms themselves. But as you've gotten a bigger following and gained trust from an audience, I'm sure there have been opportunities to work with brands and to start to
It's
reach out and develop different relationships in that world. What has that been like for you?
been really good. Actually, I mean, that's probably how I do. I mean, financially, that's probably how I do the best is from affiliate marketing, working with other companies. Um, but no, that's been good. I think also too in doing that, like being a young self-employed like business person, I know there's probably a bunch of those people that watch your podcast, but like it really did open up my mind to like how money kind of works, like with working with these brands, because it's like, man, it's so cool. I'm just sitting down, or playing my Switch to chill at night or whatever it is. And, I get 5, 6 emails that boom, boom, someone bought this, someone bought that, someone bought this. It's like, wow, okay, so what you're telling me is I don't have to trade my time for money anymore. Like I could work really hard on the front end, build up something, and then it'll produce on the back end. And then so that really the last probably 2 years has been like, okay, that's my mindset. So I want to build my course, my shooting course up to where, I work really hard. I build a great course for people that it's going to help them improve. It's going to be awesome. They're going to love it. But it can also be something to where it's like, wow, I can enjoy my life now because it's like I put in all this work and then
Hmm.
it's paying off on the back end. And I'm learning that with affiliate marketing because it's like you work with these companies, you build up like Jersey Frost. That's probably my biggest one. Everyone knows me for Jersey Frost, but working with them. But it's like, I've built up this, I made so many videos for Jersey Frost over the years. And now it's like I don't even really even make that many for them. I might make once a month and it still just piles in. Everyone knows use code best shooter, get 10% off. That's been a thing for 3, 4 years. So it's just, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it off, and then you kind of reap the benefits after. So
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, I love that. In terms of like personal projects or goals, like is there anything coming up in the future that you're excited about or you'd like to share? I know you said I'll talk about from a training element, just having more resources for players to develop skills, but like is there
yep.
any big projects you're really pumped about that you're kind of working on or focused on?
Uh, I mean, I'm in that pivot of people getting to know me more. I'm gonna switch over more to YouTube, like long form.
Sure.
And I think I finally came up with what I wanted, how I want to portray myself and how I want to do it. Because that was the struggle too. Because YouTube's a different animal and a different beast on its own. It's you kind of get stuck in a rhythm doing short form content. With short form content's not easy either, but it's a totally different mindset between long form and then short form. Like you have to think differently. So for a long time, I've been trying to figure it out because I just don't want to. I'm also a person that doesn't like. There's so many videos I haven't posted just because I'm not happy with like how they came out. Like I want them to be up to the quality that I want. So I never wanted to just post on YouTube just because oh I have subscribers now. Like I can just post whatever so I can make money. Like I never wanted to be that guy. Like I want to have good ideas, good videos, good editing, good whatever, and then I want to give people something good, something I'm proud of too. Um, so I think I finally put that together mentally in my head what I want to do. So this year is like kind of the year that I want to like start executing it. I think I finally found a guy behind the scenes that can help me put everything together like I want it to be and want it to look. Um, so yeah, so I've been working on.
Dude, that's exciting. I know that's a big step. I know for a lot of people that don't know the social media space as well, like that might just sound like another thing you're taking on, but that is a big pivot and a
Yeah,
big opportunity to do a lot of cool things, but also a lot of different brain power and energy will have to go into that for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, this has been a really, really fun episode, man. Hearing your story, hearing all the things you're working on, it's been great. I want to know, as we kind of wrap this thing up, like if you could give one piece of advice, because like you said, we do have a lot of listeners who are kind of, in the space of wanting to build a personal brand, wanting to create more content, like capitalize off this era that we're in right now with all the opportunities. What is one piece of advice you could give someone that maybe is just getting started and maybe can look at someone like you and be inspired, but also slightly overwhelmed just because there is such a large gap between your first day or your beginning stages of posting and to where, you can get to. What is kind of the best advice for someone in that phase?
Um, I think there's a few things. One, as far as like seeing me and then being back and like, oh, I want to do that, but I'm not there yet. Like, how do I get there? Like, don't rush the process. And this is something I feel like you will run into in every stage of life. Like, if your goal is material things like money, followers, or whatever it is, you'll never reach it because it's or you won't reach it fast enough. Like you always be like, oh, I want it to be here by the time I was 18. I want it to be here. Like just fall in love with doing it. If you fall in love with doing it and your focus is making the best product or the best content possible, like it'll happen eventually. Because if you're like, that's why Mr. Beast is so successful. Like he fell in love with making the best YouTube videos possible. And of course, because he fell in love with making the video, everyone else fell in line because it's like, wow, this is a great product. I want to invest 30 minutes a day to watch a Mr. Beast video because it's so good. If you
Mm.
could just kind of have that same mindset, like, I love making videos, I love building businesses, I love making brands, like, everything else will just happen eventually. But just don't rush that. Just enjoy what you're doing, enjoy it. If you learn to love it, that'll happen. Um, I had something else. What exactly was the question again?
Yeah, just that was
Advice.
a good answer. But yeah, just one piece of advice that you could give to someone who's maybe in the early phases of trying to step into social media, building a brand, having influence, and how you would kind of go about that initial phase to build to where you could become.
And another thing, this is cliche, um, but don't listen to people telling you no, you can't, or that don't understand.
Mm.
Because I'm not gonna mention any names or anything, but I had a point when I was in social media when I first started. I got to about 100,000 followers, and I was really committing like to it. Like I was going after it, and I had a lot of people, um, like telling me like, "Why are you doing this? This is weird." All this, and it really started to affect with like my work life, my personal life, like outside of it. So it really did come down to a decision that I had to make. Like, okay, am I going to stick around these people and am I going to stay here, or am I going to branch out and do my own thing? Um, but at the same time, with saying that, like, don't listen to people. Also, don't hold grudges against people because a lot of people just don't understand. And everyone has a vision of where they want to be, and sometimes your vision just doesn't align with theirs. So like maybe because like I was working for a company, it was the people that I was working for that was like kind of giving me that talk and not being cool with it. But there was nothing wrong with that because he had a vision of where he wanted his brand to go. And maybe the stuff that I was doing was just not aligned with his vision. But the stuff I was doing was also not aligned with his vision. So it probably was just a good time to split ways. It wasn't no hate, you know what I'm saying? Now,
Sure.
did I take it as hate in the moment? Yes. But now that I've kind of matured, I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes, don't listen to haters. Like, if you have a dream, go for it. But at the same time, like, don't hold grudges against people. Use it as fuel, but like, you know, if you have a plan and you're gonna work for it, you have a vision for yourself. Like, it'll happen. Just focus on what you got to do, and then you'll get it. So
Let's go, bro. I love that, man. That's such a good way to end this thing, dude. Braxton, you were the man. I'm super pumped for you, man. I love what you do, man, and really thankful you came on the show today. This has been a fun episode.
appreciate you. It's been fun, man.
Let's go.